that. See how we're doing. Check on my stuff. And access streaming. Therein lies the question. There we go. Well, at least I'm partially on, which is good. Pop this up a little bit. Should be good to go. These bad boys off. Kick off some ring rust. Get down to business. So I'm lucky. I've got 2 Helbrutes to paint. They're both going to be somewhat Death Guardy. Because I want to run 3, my Death Guard army. My third one is already painted. It's outside. Well, not outside. It's out in the barn, sitting on the table. Just chilling, mid-game. Me and my buddy Will sort of stopped halfway through. The last game a long time ago. So, with these guys, this guy I'm going to make laden with rust. And this guy here is going to be kind of a bony looking, rotten, but still verdant. Maybe actually adding some plant material to the model kind of deal. So his base paint is going to be bone colored. I'm going to add some fun stuff to him. And this guy on the left was a gift. This is the old, Death Guard versus Gilliman box version. So he's got I guess that's a multi-melta and a claw. It's pretty cool. Very cool model. So, one of the things I need to do first, however, is handle a bunch, like a base coat of the skin. And then on this guy, I think the very first thing I'm going to do is just hit him with a pile of Wraithbone. All over. I'm going to hit the plates. I'm also going to hit a lot of the flesh, just sort of as base coat. It's actually really good that it's Death Guard green underneath. You can see, actually, there's still some little red bits of red in there. I cleaned this guy up pretty well. And he came apart a little bit. But he was red when I got him. And I dipped him. And I hit him with the old... by dipped, I mean I dropped him in a bunch of isopropyl alcohol. Hit him with the Bluey branded electronic toothbrush, which I do not use on my teeth. So teeth will be a recurring theme in this stream. Hit him with this a bit, and then the other tool that I like to use when cleaning up models is a mascara brush. And maybe I should just comb my eyebrows with this end. But I find these to be really, really good in that the quality of the brush, rather than just like a standard pipe cleaner, pretty nice. They tend to be tapered, so when you get into a little section, you can just swizz a little bit. So there's a lot of just going in there and clean stuff up. There's a little bit of residue in some spots, but relatively speaking, this guy cleaned up well. Like those spots in there, not going to worry too much about them. So, to get started, because I want to have these guys look a little bit flushed, I'm going to use some brown rose, which is just straight up Viejo, old school bottle, sitting around forever. I put it to good use. I actually like this color a lot. I was cleaning up some stuff. I did see your captain. I probably commented on it. No, I did. He's looking rad, dude. That's a crisp paint job. And I love the pose, man. Staring down the barrel of the hammer. Very cool. I like them. I gotta find my Wraithbone. Skull, blah blah. Black white is too white. Wraithbone, the old classic. It's looking good, man. How you been? I've been out of the loop. I've been suffering from tooth pain, which is the cause of which has gotten resolved. The effects of which are still ongoing. I had a molar pulled out. I'm not going to show you, but that sucked to begin with, because actually the bone structure in my jaw is pretty good, and my roots are good, which means getting this tooth out, it's not easy. So we went through all that. It took him about an hour and 15 minutes to get the tooth out. And then after the fact, it got infected. That was no fun. So, true to like Nurgly form, my jaw got infected. So, the idea of coming online and yapping like crazy for a few hours has not been. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Jake? Yeah, chaos indeed. Lots of that here. Oh, this guy is the other thing I got to work on a little bit. Speaking of chaos, is I'm gonna make like an urban base for that guy. Yay! I'm actually gonna hide him over here for now, though. Get him out of the way so I don't accidentally splash him with a bunch of stuff. But little by little, my chaos grows. Piece by piece, and row by row. I do love me some chaos. All right, so this is going to go on relatively heavy over a lot of the model, and I'm very glad, I was saying before, that it's Death Guard green underneath, because it'll give this lighter color a pretty gnarly effect to it, make it look sickly. So, I mean, right now, I'm pretty deep into Death Guard stuff in general, but technically speaking, what I'm doing is Chaos Space Marine. But this guy showed up in the mail, so I couldn't stop. And all my Helbrutes are going to be Death Guard Helbrutes because I'm a Death Guard guy at heart. So, sort of doing a little bit of both. A little bit of this is Chaos Space Marine work. A little bit of it is crossover Death Guard stuff. But I'm pretty close to 1,400 points. Hey, Miyati. It's good to see you, too. I'm recovering from a bunch of tooth shenanigans at this point, so it is good to be back. But the last couple of weeks, it's just been a lot of lying around and complaining. Good times. Good times, dope rhymes. But I'm on amoxicillin now, which is good. Everything's pretty manageable, which is good. I've also been working a lot the last couple of weeks. I do some curriculum development stuff for a local university, and that has heated up a little bit in a good way. Good. Yes, alarm. I should stream. Thank you very much. Yeah, all's good. So I got 2 Helbrutes to work through, which is, I gotta tell you, a pretty good time. Abandon us like the Emperor abandoned his son. I mean, like a week and a half. So I'm a little better than the Emperor. It's good to see you, Kraken. Hey, Spigot. Yeah, so I'm just painting again. I did some grumbly off-camera painting of a couple of obliterators. Dude, it was just hard. Like, talking was a pain in the keister. Yeah, I got these 2 guys now. Just chilling out in their little industrial war zone bases. Converting the newer Khorne Berserkers into Sons of Horus. Those are my aspiring champion. Is a little whack, but he's okay. We all turned to chaos in that week and a half. Yeah, it was good times. Yes, in that precious week and a half, that's all it took. It does go to show you like how not together the Emperor's plan was, and that he like walked off for a few days. Everyone was like, "I'll get him out. I quit. I gotta get this guy's face too." So I'm gonna go over obviously the skin parts of this with skin tone as well, but a little bit of wraithbone underneath is not gonna be a bad thing. Skin, so much flesh. But the greenie underneath it will make it look pretty ill. Obviously, there's a lot of metallics to work through on this guy. Yeah, they are Iron Warriors, Obliterators. So they're gonna hang out with my Warp Smith and a couple other my more Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto, Chaos, Demon Engine-y things. So for my Chaos Space Marine army, I am trying to like touch on, I know, at the same time. May we all be so blessed, my friend. The old and the new combined. It's good to see you. I am ending up with a decent amount of, does not come as any surprise, Demon Engine-y things for my Chaos Space Marine army. I do like machinery. And I am trying to dance around and hit a bunch of different sort of sub-factions of Chaos with that Chaos Space Marine army. I want it to very much feel like Abaddon's calling in all his markers and trying to get a Black Crusade going. So this guy is more dynamic. This guy is more static. This is the out-the-box version that you get today. And this one came out in the Dark something or other, Dark Imperium, whatever, before my time box, where I think it was like a bunch of Ultramarines versus a bunch of Death Guard. It was a very, I think that's what it's from. Yeah, Dark Vengeance. Thank you. And so it's got a cool pose. I think he's locked into these weapons unless you kit bash him. But this guy's sweet. So, buddy of mine, Sharp, just like on his own volition was like, hey, I'll send you mine, which was like super nice. It was awesome. It was very mega kind gesture. He's like, yeah, I know you really want one. Like, I'll just send you one. So, it had red paint on it. It's actually pretty cool looking red. I almost kept it. Then I was like, let's go Death Guard. He sent it with a couple other really awesome bits too. There's like a lawn gnome that I may actually end up putting on one of these two bases. Because one of these may be very covered in plant stuff. We'll see. We'll see how the muse takes me. One of these might very, very be covered with stuff from my yard. I should get these tentacles too while I'm at it. They're going to get fleshy, but a little bit of white to start out. It's not going to be a bad thing. I'm not going to worry about those chains, though. I am going to have to get in there. Yeah, actually, the red stuck inside there's not going to be bad. That's where all this stuff is sprouting from. And I had this other, silvered up, ironed up, steeled up, really, Helbrute just sitting over there waiting in the on-deck circle. I was like, oh, what a treat. I love Helbrutes so very much. Let's get them both up. It's definitely I don't think I've ever actually seen the box except on eBay, but it's a years old box. So this model is a relic from days gone. You can still find it on eBay and Troll Trader and stuff like that, but it's very coveted, and a lot of times it's hard to find one that's still in pretty good shape. It's not like super, super old, but it was basically a model I was not going to get my hands on anytime soon without direct buddy intervention. And lo and behold, buddy intervened. Get a little dab of water. Dry this up a little bit. There we go. But yeah, the going to be very bony looking Death Guard armor. So I'm like not really dry brushing all of this. I'm smushing color into it pretty assertively. And then a lot of this is actually flesh. So one of the big differences between this model is this guy's got plates all on him in a lot of spots, whereas this, like, the fleshy part is much more 8th edition. Yeah, I think so. I think this was when I think this thing came out. Dark Imperium. Oh, so there is an Imperium and a Vengeance. Good to know. So much history. Oh, 5th or 6th? Go! So this thing is a relic. Yeah, it's a little wild to me that, I mean, I guess some stuff's just gotta, like, part of their plan to just not release it anymore, but this Helbrute is just like, in my opinion, I love them both. This one seems a little bit superior. Of course, I think it does only have the one configuration, but it's like multi-melta and claw fist, which I'm fine with. I like the idea of having 3 of these guys able to just like run in and smush things up close and personal, and a little bit of multi-melta on entry is not going to hurt. Dark Imperium was when they relaunched Death Guard, had a sweet box set with it. Yeah, that's right. That's the Lord of Contagion and a few other pretty solid fiddly bits. Hey, the man himself. Look at your boy. Look what I did to him. He ain't red no more. Except you can see a little bit in there. Sharp, you're the best, man. Funny story. I found another one of these and assembled in a random box. That's awesome. That's you're just like sitting on them. All right, so just looking around. Yeah, I think it's a good time to transition to flesh work. Yeah, I'm psyched, and it's great to be able to do these guys side by side, if you'll pardon the phrasing. Because they really are both like cool models. This one's obviously like super dynamic. This one's definitely like meh, big angry pose. Um, to be able to rock both of these, kind of a cool experience. Right now, in terms of like 2,000 points, I'm at Chaos Knights, Death Guard, Orcs. I mean, I'm just gonna go full factionage. At about 1,000 points, strangely enough, I'm definitely Chaos Space Marines, and then at like 500 points, I might even have. I'm probably like maybe even 1,000. I might have 1,000 points of Chaos Demons at this point. Then at the 500 point range, I'm at like Admech, Sisters. I don't know. I'm a little shy on Tau because I think their combat patrol's a little light. Crimson Slaughter, I think, had. Oh, Crimson Slaughter. Well, that's probably why it was red. I think that lawn gnome may end up on one of these bases. One of these may be very Nurgle's Gardeny. The. What am I? I don't need to describe them because I have a camera. Um, so this guy I've seen before. It's like military pug. This guy's pretty bad. This guy may find his way onto a Basefield model at some point as color as well. Always good green mossy stuff, which I think I'm gonna try to make this guy look like he's made out of bone, but getting overgrown. Crazy lawn gnome. So when I first saw this guy, I was like, okay, it's a lawn gnome, but like if I Canadian pug, is he Canadian or is it Cadian? Cadian. I thought you said Canadian for a second. Yeah, he's definitely Cadian. He's absolutely Cadian. He's not Canadian. But I looked at this guy and he's like mouth agape, huge eyeballs. I was like, if I could make this thing horrifying, it'd be pretty sweet. And then Skull Jester, pretty rad. Fun stuff, super fun stuff. And Tiny Tree. Oh, I think I get what this is. There's this little piece that I couldn't figure out. Is this... Is this vomit that comes out of the gnome's mouth? If that's the case, then he's definitely an anointed, nurgling guy. I couldn't piece this together in my head, but now it's a perfect fit. Oh my god, he's vomiting. He's vomiting rainbow stuff. Yes! Alright, he's going on the base. That is perfect. That is... Love it. Love it. I'm psyched. All right, let's get this brush a little bit cleaned up. A wee bit. After all that dry brushing fun. Get some isopropyl on this bad boy. I'm trying to stick it out for a while tonight. I will warn you, my face still hurts. It's like the never-ending saga of the... Hey, Barbie! Never-ending saga of the tooth gone wrong. Even if in its absence it's giving me struggles, but I suppose all my Nurgle worship has probably put me in a spot where I should be thankful for antibiotics. Good times. All right, skin. Brown rose. Looks a little feverish. It's perfect. Have a sip of coffee, pull out a brush, and we're just blocking out the flesh at this point. We don't have to do anything super crazy. Yeah, all 4 wisdom teeth. I had that when I was in my teens. Yeah, and not but yogurt, porridge, and rice for nearly 2 weeks. Yeah, mine just did not go well this time around. It was a long procedure. It didn't hurt while they were doing it. I was like all Novocained up, but like it's just a massive tooth with deep roots. And then I got infected. All praise to the grandfather. I'm actually pretty shocked that it got infected. They think there might actually still be like a weird shard of tooth hiding in there somewhere. I am, and by virtue of me being here, feeling better. It would have been, I think, I could have gone on last night, but I ended up just like watching TV. But I talking for long periods of time was rough. Which, you know, when you're gonna stream, it's kind of what you do. But I appreciate the well wishes. I am definitely like on the mend. I feel so much better than I did a couple days ago. It took a couple days of antibiotics to really like put things in check. All right, so I don't know if you can see that, but like that's my stuff's a little washed out. Oh yeah, it's like relatively skinish tone. These lights are bright in here. Ah, well. We'll cope. One of my wisdom teeth was apparently in there. I will look up Crimson Blades and Crimson Slaughter. I will get, you know me, I can't get enough of good sweet background lore. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to these guys. Yeah, my oral surgeon back in the day said that he had to like pull out the 9 iron to get one of my wisdom teeth out. I mean, sometimes I just got to take them out sideways. Sometimes I got to get in there. Not that we're going into like full dental chat, but I guess we are. Here we go. I brought it up. Apparently, like to get wisdom teeth out, a lot of times they have to break the tooth. While it's in there, and then yoink the pieces out. Which like just sounds horrifying. Does not sound like a good time. All right, so I'm not gonna go like absolutely batty on this. Just trying to block out the skin that's in there without hitting too much of the metal. This is going to get layered with all kinds of other skin related products. Just a little bit. Metal underneath, which is absolutely fine. Be a little shiny in the first pass. This time around, just trying to get decent coverage. And it looks mad pink right now, which it is. That's okay. Trust the process as much as possible. Nice and thin. Do I have? Yeah, I do. I need like a piece of parchment or something. Yeah, they yoinked my wisdom teeth at a very, very, very early age. They're just like, you ain't gonna need these, buddy. I'm just gonna give you hassle. No, it's a piece of paper. Zoop. Top ones are fully in, the bottom ones are like halfway through. Yeah, it's so strange. I love. I need more hobbies. I love things like that are just vestigial body things. Like you don't need your wisdom teeth, but you got them. You know, the appendix is just like, yeah, it's still there. Don't really need it. It's just like interesting to me, evolution in general. And like some people, absolutely fine. Keep your wisdom teeth as long as you want. Other people, they're like, you gonna have problems, son. I'm not trying to hit the actual metal parts on this, but if I do, it's just a matter of going back and cleaning up a little bit. This thing was only dry brushed metallic, and then obviously I hit some of the trim up just because I was in need of a task to do, keep my mind on things, but we're not into the crazy, crazy details yet. There's no reason to bug. But it was my first tooth issue in probably 25 years. So I had a good run of like no problems. I was patently shocked that I got infected because I was like religious about keeping everything all cleaned up. Didn't matter. The dentist said, he's like, might just have a bone shard in there somewhere you don't know about, just aggravating things. I was like, that's great. Good for me. But hey, modern medicine good. They don't give you, well, they didn't give me fantastic drugs this time. That was a far departure from my wisdom tooth days. They're like, nah, you just take some ibuprofen when you get home. Maybe some acetaminophen. I was like, they don't give you anything stronger? They're like, nah. Irresponsible people ruined it for the rest of us. That made a difference. Back in the day, you used to basically just sort of drool sleep your way through at least day one. It's pretty heavy stuff. Now it's kind of like, no, you're gonna feel something. These guys gonna get laden with like washes and stuff. This guy specifically is gonna get covered in rusty stuff, and a lot of that's gonna go on the flesh. I want you to elope with me. I already eloped once, man. I appreciate the offer, but technically speaking, me and my wife eloped. I mean, at the very least, I'm good at it. No big ceremony. We told my wife's sister to stop by in the morning, and they were like, "Okay, guess what? We're all." This was on a Thursday. I was in a suit. My wife was in a dress. Or then, I guess Sarah was probably like 9 or 10. Was in a dress on a weekday. We're like, going to the Justice of the Peace. Pack it up. My boss at the time. Actually, I don't even know if he still was my boss. He was my best man. Water on this guy. Just went right around the corner. And our wedding reception. I still want you. Helbrute gives the best massages. I bet he does, man. I wanted one guy that was like super grabby, like inappropriately grabby. The neat thing is with the modern Helbrute is that if you give them whatever his power claws, if you give them grab hands, you can either put some form of bolter or flamer in each hand. Elope is eloping is when you don't have a big wedding ceremony, when you just go off and get the marriage legally done. So our wedding reception was just at the local diner around the corner. It was awesome. Cheap wedding. My mother was not amazingly pleased to find out after the fact, but it was like, buddy, what are you gonna do? Turns out that by not planning a crazy big wedding, we managed to get married because 30 days later, everything went into lockdown for COVID. So if we hadn't done it the way we did, we wouldn't have been able to get married for quite a while. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the way to go. Yeah, wedding without a big ceremony. So a justice of the peace is like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of this in British terms. Like a local barrister. I don't know. It's someone who's got like legal power of authority to marry someone, including like filling out all the documentation with the state and all that. And it's basically like, it's in our case is a lawyer who's like right around the corner from us. So we just booked time, showed up on a weekday morning, went through a very short ceremony. We now kissed the bride, been married ever since. But Greenleaf, always a bridesmaid, never the bride. Someday your ship will come in. You'll find another auto. There's more of me out there. I got clones. There are definitely people out there that are very much my clones. Or I'm a clone of them. I don't like to be too ridiculous about me being the original. Flesh, flesh, flesh. The OG, as it were. Yeah, all in all, though, things are good. Uh, The roof of my barn and my garage got replaced entirely in one day. It's just you got to ride in a Rolls Royce for a wedding. I was kind of a helper. Sweet. I don't think I've ever ridden in a Rolls Royce before. I don't think I have. Should be like a bucket list thing. They're beautiful cars, man. It's like amazing history to them. I should buy them with all of this stream of money. All we do here is get rich. There we go. Once again, like I'm just looking to block this stuff in. I don't need to like religiously get up to the edge of every piece of metal, but it needs some fleshy backing before I start doing other steps on it. There's gonna be a lot of wash on here, a lot of thin coats of stuff. This is just getting me into flesh tone territory to start. Mess with that. Oh yeah, these little organy under here. Ugh, little fleshy. Also, it's just a good opportunity to just look under the model and see what you're dealing with. Just trying to block out the bigger chunks. In a lot of cases underneath, it's just pulling the reflectivity from the metallic dry brushing off of it. A lot of this is going to be hidden in shadow. You're the page boy for your parents? That's pretty sweet. I rocked out that gig for a couple relatives when I was super little. Fun gig. A ring bearer. A very Tolkien-esque title. This guy's got good calves. Good definition. Good musculature, buddy. I love the fact that Helbrutes aren't like some guy in a sarcophagus. It's like some guy who's just like his head's right there, and he's just mutated out and like absolutely demonic. I got an ad on your stream and I was like, what the hell? I remembered I had to log out. So many personas, my friend. Good to see you. That's all metal over there. Let me just scooch this in here to make this guy's burnt up, crispy face a little fleshier. My first Hellbrute, I didn't I knew practically nothing about Warhammer in general. I didn't even know what a Hellbrute was. I just was like, oh, I saw a box. I was like, damn, this is cool. I painted him as if he had like no flesh whatsoever, like as if it was all just like bent metal. It actually looks pretty good. Like now going back and like looking at the actual model, it's like, oh wow, now I understand. I get it. I do find the interpretation of models to be like an interesting thing. I go back and see stuff, Poxwalkers all the time, like details that I didn't suss out while I was looking at them, or just interpreted differently. And like there's a Poxwalker that absolutely is in a prison jumpsuit, like for real, like 100%. I just didn't see it as that while I was painting it, so mine just looks different. I think that's actually a really like interesting and cool part of the process. Um, there are details that pop up, when you look at the box art, which is at least informed, it's all Games Workshop, like, the original artist for the sculpt probably has some notes like paint this thing, don't forget this thing. But if you don't really pay attention to the box art, you just kind of like look at it as a model unto itself, and that's it. Different little fiddly bits all over the place. I missed so many flies. Looking hot, baby. Thanks. Thanks, Boo. Still got it. I missed so many of the flies in the Destroyer Hive the first time I painted Typhus. They're just like super tiny bits of plastic. It's nice to go back and paint things an additional time when you got more context, better feel for it in general. Just more experience. Though it was dope the first time. I really like Typhus. I was already sold on Warhammer, but when I painted Typhus, I was like, all right, now I think I understand why people paint tons of models. It's like that model is just an experience. Yeah, Blat Blat. I've been a bad person. Had a bunch of teeth issues. Made it very uncomfortable for me to do a lot of speaking. So you haven't seen a lot of me lately. You're 100% correct. I am still cranking away on my little video game, though that took a speed hit as well. My dental suffering. But hopefully I'll turn the corner on that too sometime soon. Yeah, I basically just had a big jaw ache, keeping me out of the stream game for a bit. So now I'm back with a vengeance. And truth be told, stuff does come up. I got to normalize my life schedule a bit. A little bit chaotic right now. At least you didn't cut the flies off the cleaner flash. Yeah, just plain hard to get. Yeah, it is. I mean, Greenleaf. It's very thinly veiled, hard to get. I know what I'm doing. I'm not a tease, but like I am hard to get. That's certainly true. I won't deny it. I think I'd make a pretty good Hellbrute. All kinds of good things come with that. Get a lot of long naps. Not quite the Space Marine sarcophagus dreadnought naps. People mostly leave you alone for long periods of time. That sounds pretty good. I did miss you guys, but yeah, life does come first. Even when life sucks, like I'm not gonna lie to you, like there's no upside of my jaw getting infected at all. But things happen. You just gotta take care of them. One thing after the next. Just gotta take stuff in stride. I think the big issue for me was that like it just hit the point where like it was like, oh my god, this is still going on. Like, should be through this BS. But you can't really make stuff go faster than it's gonna go in a lot. Some things. Healing, one of them. All right, in an effort to not go too batshit crazy over this first step, I'm just gonna spin this guy around a little bit, find a couple more spots, and then jump over to the next one. I'm obviously still gonna add more to this. I gotta remind myself I'm just blocking. Just blocking. We're not filling everything in just yet. Just more so just cueing myself as to where there be flesh versus where there be machine. I do think people that don't paint chaos kind of miss a little aspect of the fun parts of painting where like these models are confusing at times in a good way. Like where the machine ends and the body begins is really pretty bizarre. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I get it, but by the time I got to KS, it got all pink. Hey, what's up, Shiny Mew? Everybody has a decent amount of fun with me in chat, and I love it that way. It's been a while since I've seen these folks, so I do. I don't think I have any secret admirers. I think I have people that just are very good, fun folk. Keep it pretty silly here. So much flesh. So much flesh. Excellent. I will check out Show and Tell in a couple of minutes. I think when I get through this little pass of fleshiness, good opportunity to take a peek at some Show and Tell. Sectors, how you been, buddy? Good to see you. That is true. Admech and Orcs, another great example of flesh meets metal. But like with Admech, it makes sense, and with Orcs, it's like intentionally goofy. I feel like with Chaos, it's like it's got a different hue or flavor to it. The jaw is healing. Thank you very much. It is healing. The antibiotics are working. Grandfather Nurgle has decided to give me a little bit of a easing off the pedal a little bit. Talk normally. I mean, I've been able to talk the whole time. I don't want to like dramatize it too much, but too much talk equaled too much hurdy after a while. And that's no bueno. But I'm good. I'm good. I got piles of Helbrutes. Could do worse. Why did Windows change my this PC? Windows changes stuff every single time just to validate that they change stuff. I mean, I guess I understand, but yeah, it's weird. Hovering on my desk right now. It's World Eaters, though. I was a little surprised how small they are. They are, if I remember correctly, like I think the base size is the same, but the model itself is smaller than a dreadnought. But it's because they're not cowards hiding in a suit. Uh, more of them is exposed. So it's good to see you, Erg. What a quote. Hey man, if you got the time and inclination, go big or go home. I'm gonna use a tiny little brush to sneak in here real quick. Just need a little coverage. I'm not gonna go nuts. There we go. Just a little bit of flesh. And I'm gonna clean this brush up. It's not even that tiny. That's a 3/0. That's not even small. 3:57 a.m. in the UK. Yeah, it's bright and early for you, buddy. Top of the morning to you. 2:58. All right, that's still early. Early. There we go. Get some of that out of there. I mean, frankly, the tiny brushes I use are mostly just so that the it's purely based on the width and not bumping into stuff while I'm trying to like get where I'm going. Not that I have that much of the shakes, but I got enough of it where it's like I don't want to pinkify all that on the road to I'm trying to paint to. There was a spot, I know there's many, but there's a spot on here I saw that I like totally didn't get. Ah, the taint. That wasn't what I was thinking of, but I definitely didn't get it. Front. Well, we'll get another pass in a few minutes, but I think I'm going to call this just block out pass pretty much done. Yeah, sweet. I know it's Irish, but we say it over here all the time. Shoot until. There we go. Screen? Sure. Close my Unity hub. Oh, that skull is rad. Dig it. Yeah, I love skulls. Ooh. That looks neat. The bonus wind chimes in the background. Wild. More little tinies. It's so small. They're very cool scopes. Ah, there we go. Some color on it. Sweet. There's an awesome expression on the face. Cool model. That was pretty rad too. Cano hands. It's like my Helbrute. Yeah, look at that guy. Proper shiv in his offhand. I'm probably not going to crack open 9 gag while I'm streaming. TBH. Yeah, this guy looks like he likes to party by cutting Tyranids in half. Love it. Nice work, Dave. Cool stuff. Got a splash on the front of that I gotta get. But this guy's got mad skin on him. Firstborn version. Yeah. He looks a little whittle. You know, foot taller than me, but not a foot and a half, 2 feet taller than me. Yeah. Show me your Hellbrute. Uh, my Dark Vengeance Hellbrute came in the mail from Sharp. It was just like, I mean, he doesn't talk like this, but it was essentially, yo, dog, do you want one of these? And he just emailed it to me with a little lawn gnome guide that's probably going on the base. So it was a super, super just generous friend reaching out saying, hey, I got one. You want it? And I was like, heck yeah. Miyadi, have a great night. Sleep well, rest well. We'll talk soon. My hope is that someday Helbrutes become battle line and I can put 6 out. It's my secret goal. Just an army of Helbrutes. How to paint the spine. Oh, this is great. I get to paint toenails too again. Obliterators are like mini versions of Helbrutes. Pretty sweet. Oh yeah, look at this guy up. Oh, and the combat pug is in the shot too. Bam. That pug is great. Tempted to use the pug instead of Curon's little demon buddy. Just use the pug as his little marker that goes around. That looks pretty dope though. Helbrutes do look pretty awesome in red. Yeah, the in the Electro Scourge, Lightning Scourge thing, so cool. That's on my first one. Like 7th edition. Oof. Yeah, definitely. If there was the possibility of running 6 of those guys, I'd definitely love to see how that works. Do I start my chaos journey in parallel to Tau so I don't continue this chain of teal boredom, or will it just mean I have multiple unfinished projects? I mean, I've come to embrace the unfinished projects part of it. Um, I'm not sure you'd be as comfortable with that lifestyle as I am, but with the exception of like battle line type stuff, I find most chaos to be pretty palate cleansing, which is nice. And I don't think that's the same for every army. You magnetize it? Nah. I thought about magnetizing. I started out trying to magnetize my first one. That was actually going to be, I think, one of the first things that I ever magnetized. And I was like, I got part of the way through it, and it was just like beyond my skill to do well. And I was like, I like me some Helbrutes. If I need 12 of them, I'll just do it. I think it depends, sectors. Like when you say your chaos journey, like what does this entail? Because if it's like 5,500 points of chaos, I would not recommend you start it. If it is, if it is a Death Guard combat patrol, um, you might be able to pull model out. Oh, Emperor's Children, Yee. And then Death Guard. I think Emperor's Children is kind of interesting in this very specific convo because you get a lot of like bright color to work with. You get a lot of like really screwed up, like stretched faces and stuff. I don't know. I think you can answer that question by by prototyping the effort. I would grab one Emperor's Children model, see how it makes you feel when you paint it. I wouldn't go like I should just crack into this thing. If you just end up needing a palette cleanser, Emperor's Children is definitely going to like hook you up. And if the Siren's Call of Slaanesh pulls you all the way in, well, hey, then it was for the best. And you did the right thing. I just do one. Yeah, so Fulgrim. Well said, buddy. I didn't see that coming, and I should have. Yeah, if you just want to dip your toe in briefly, bust out Fulgrim. Why not? I love it. I love that model. That model's so freaking cool, and his face is my favorite part, and I'm not afraid to say it. And I don't have any problem with people who loathe his face, but man, I think it's perfect. You've got Shiny, you got like some deep Gobbo roster. And I love the fact because they're so fun, they're cute, but like they're like each distinct. But some of it is just like you get personality on each one. It's pretty rad. I can't say that every model that I paint has like crazy personality on it. But like Gobos, man, full of it. Full of personality, each one of them. Oh, well, that's all right if that's fleshy. I am going to go over that. It's a tentacle. Of course, it's got a flesh base. You found a way. Oh, found a way to make tons of money this year. Were you struggling? You looking for a side hustle? Location point with that goblin clerk. Yeah. Claiming my employees as dependents since I carry them. Taxes will be sweet. Nice crop. There you go. He finally figured out drug dealing. Good to see you, Grot. Lurking. Speaking of goblins, it's not dealing its arbitrage. Grot's got to become an interstate fungi dealer. bet mushroom farming would be a hoot. Very nerdly profession. Oh, that was a whiff. Did it again. One little spot. It's a pain in the keister. Never ate mushroom before, so that'd be interesting getting growing and selling. Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, it depends on the mushrooms. I mean, if we're talking strictly psychedelic ones, and like, it's its own brand of business. But even just like food mushrooms would be kind of a neat thing to get a grow operation going. It's all in nowadays, it's like all in drawers. It's kind of neat. You just get like a relatively safe, clean room. And you just got a bunch of plastic drawers with different mushrooms growing in them. It's pretty rad. Scrap wooden buckets. Yep. Yeah, you do mean culinary? All right. Oh, you just don't like eating mushrooms in general. It's just not your jam. Mushrooms are, I don't want to say like super polarizing, but it's not uncommon to have for people to just be like, yeah, I'm not really into mushrooms. They're on that list of like, some people not really about them. Texture. Tried one, didn't enjoy it. Well, I mean, the neat thing is if you start producing a lot of mushrooms, then you've got a good excuse to try a variety of them out. Yeah, and come to find out, a lot of stuff changes over time. So I used to absolutely just like heavily criticize my mom's cooking as like, cans of Brussels sprouts being disgusting. And some of that was my mom not really putting, I don't want to say not putting effort in, but my mother's not like culinary master of any sort. She's great with making desserts, but like savory food, not so much. But apparently, Brussels sprouts, obviously canned ones are garbage no matter what, but they were different 30 years ago. Like they got biologically updated over time, and somebody figured out a way to breed a lot of the bitterness out of them. So they're actually different than they used to be. Um, and I only highlight that because, like, a lot of foods that people tried once and didn't like, 5, 10 years later, they're different. Brussels sprouts are pretty good nowadays. I wouldn't get them canned, um, but roasted, they're pretty nice. There are a lot of good ways to do them. Very good recipes with buffalo Brussels sprouts. And obviously, buffalo on just about anything is a pretty solid call, but Discord when you get a second as well. Postcard. Yep, information you need. Sweet. Oh, beer cart's in the house. All right. Received, Shiny Mew. Oh, Dane's got more stuff up there too. Brussels sprouts are cabbagey, but like, and I do like cabbage. We've got preface with that. So I don't want to be like they're not too much like cabbage. Um, but they're like they're more conducive to things like they're more conducive to fats being involved. So like Brussels sprouts, like in a pan with some butter, just like getting them crispy, or like tossing some oil and put in the oven to like roast. Solid. Cabbage, like I do like cabbage, but I tend to tends to get used differently. It cooks a little differently. Could be pretty good, like wilted and stuff. It's like a slaw. Make my own sauerkraut. I did go through them. The whistle scream was wild. Yeah, cabbage when it ferments is very very. So yeah, you'll be all set with Brussels sprouts then. It's got that they got that same dope funk to them. But I always keep some kraut, homemade kraut in the fridge. Get all the way in these strange gills. Olive oil, slow roasted Brussels sprouts with shallots and garlic. Yeah, yum, yum. Like the outer leaves get like a really good crisp to them. Inside gets nice and soft. Good living. Good living. I'd be a little more careful with this brush. This was actually good. Clean it up a little bit. Now I did. We did hear the whistle scream. I think you might have been away, but those gobos are looking sweet. Really good expressive ones. That skull whistle is wild. I was not expecting that, but I like a good screaming skull. So we're gonna blow up Grot's cuisine mind. Shallots are amazing. Like a little bit like garlic, a little bit like an onion, a little bit sweeter than both in some ways. They roast really good. Like you can almost blacken them. They're, I mean, they are very related to onions, but there's a little bit of like a garlickiness to them. I mean, they're most. I was gonna say they're most like a red onion, but really not. They're weird. Yeah, it's they are like a breed of onion, but something they're different enough to warrant having a different name. And like some stuff that you do with them just doesn't quite fly if you use an onion instead. That's like kind of where I draw the line. Is like if it can't get substitute like a was it a mignonette, whatever the sauce you often get with oysters. It looks like it's got like little bits of red onion in it. If it's got red onion in it, it doesn't taste right. If it's got shallots in it, it's like magnifique. From the same genus. Sweet. Sweet. Yeah, that part that's not too surprising. But I think the growth is a little bit more like Gallic. They can be a little bit of a pain with to work with because they're so small. Not as different as horse. Yeah, highly recommend them though. The all important Warhammer food talk. It's good stuff, man. I love food. Ah, I see what you mean now, Grot. Underdeveloped. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think what you're saying, I'm picking up what you're putting down now because they're not as like pungently fumy. They're more subtle. Less pronounced. over here. That's a good way to think about it, bear carrot. Like layer paint instead of a base coat, detailing. Like, I'm not sure that I would enjoy eating, instead of getting a basket of onion rings, getting a basket of shallot rings. Like, don't get me wrong, shallots are amazing and I love them, but I don't think a shallot based meal is the way to go. However, sprinkle shallots. Yeah, onion rings, man. You can. Deep fryers too much. Of an important chaos indoctrination. Yeah, bear carrot. That's 100% right. Garnish, the sprinkle that makes all the difference. I personally think you probably need to put some amount of poop in the paint to properly channel Slanesh. I mean, it's in the books, like it's canon. Be a proper remembrancer. God, those books are so good. That was such a sleeper hit for me. The Fulgrim book, such a good time. Just like, you really going there? All right, painting with poop. Gross, but pretty hilarious. I think blood also works. Like, I think practically any bodily fluid is going to be fine. Well, maybe not bile. Bile's probably not. Yeah, poop in the paint's probably a good call. You want that realism, that ecstatic fervor. Just scooch some of this in there. Oh, you're such a good sculpt. Happy guy this guy's going to be. I can't wait to tromp three of these guys down the field. Stompy, stompy, stomp. You guys see that they're bringing back drop pods? I'm actually pretty excited for that. I have deep fried pickles. Dane, I think you're outnumbered in terms of your loyalty to the Emperor here. You're deep in chaos country, buddy. It's a hard purge in these parts. Get them and ignore the grots. Survival of the fittest, grot. Better to be unseen. Focus fired. I'm excited for drop pods. Unless that was like an April Fool's joke. Bjorkjar, up in a few hours for the rare day off. I gotta study, do house stuff. Buddy, thanks a bunch for dropping in and catching me. A brief little moment. This flurry of paint time is good to see you, pal. Have a great night. As the organs would say, protect the little ones. So noble. So noble. Been a while, gotta do it. Yep. You know what's funny is I have the multi-stream chat on, and it doesn't. People have to clue me into the fact that you just dropped a bomb on there. Thanks a bunch, bud. I appreciate it. and sharp. You give too much, man. I appreciate it deeply. Just 100 gifted. Good lord, man. Good lord. You're a saint. Where's the hype train? Right? Does that even exist anymore? Oh, there it is. It's at level 3, 96%. Ah. Wild. It is hyping. As the only dilemma about multi-streaming is if you put the multi-stream chat up. Can I actually? I can see both. If I just stay over here. The land of saints and scholars. I tried to good work a pub called Scholars. Yeah, it's true. You're good egg. You do all right. You're a good sort, as they would say. You lost the audio. Is that me? Did I kill my mic? Or is that you? See you in 5 6 weeks again, I guess. It's good. Brought here too. All right. It's a localized issue. It is pretty amazing that any of this works at all. You're kind of the only loyalist. I gotta tell you. Um, I don't know about that. Says there's 17 people watching right now, so you probably got some silent support out there. I don't dislike loyalists. I just am not really loyal. Gotta paint my Helbrutes, man. Filled with the power of CBD and chaos, nothing can stop him. Stop him. It's a winning combination. Yeah, these guys do not get heaping piles of armor. These guys are more like in gladiator garb. The old schooly Hellbrute. I like it though. Like it just looks menacing. He got plenty of machine parts. Like his whole back's exposed. Spends a lot of time at the gym. we go. The Emperor protects. He does. He does. You know, he tries. He tries to protect. A for effort. Ish. I do love the fact that, like, everything is so clearly pitted against each other in Warhammer. Like, there's no, like, trying to. There's no hope for, like, everyone getting together at the end. I got a high chest. Sweet. Yeah, Bearcat's pretty ridiculous in a good way. Much love. And is one of the folks that catches me very, very late at night their time. So I appreciate them sticking it out to the wee hours. So they work bars, so they get out on the late side, but still, like, gotta try to get some sleep. Hey, you want to avoid sleep and listen to me drone on about painting models? Happy to be here for you. Yeah, the older Helbrute, dynamic pose and like shoulder guards. He's got pauldrons. He's got a little bit of. He's got bracers. Like whole chunks of this dude are just out there and exposed. Helbrute Obliterate is very similar. They're like gladiatorial looking. Obviously, like mutated AF, but they ain't hiding. There we go. There we go. Second coat there. Just because it's going to be a little brighter back here. On the back. Do. Just keep filling things in. Like this is absolutely like around these muffler things, one of the spots where it's very hard to distinguish where skin ends, machine begins. It's fun. Those transitions are fun little spots. Post up this pinky finger. Let's get this little section filled in. Then I can put this down for a second. Just absorb what the heck it is I'm doing. Just a little in there. I keep saying just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Sleep is for the weak. Ha! Send the need for sleep. I don't know if the tower really trying though. I don't know. Like Greater good sounds neat on the surface. Sounds a little sinister underneath. Kudos on putting it in rules discussion. Proper use of channel elements. Bam. All right. Hellforged Warpack. One Warpsmith. You gotta have someone there. Calling the shots. 3 to 5 units chosen any combination. Helbrute, Mauler Fiend, Forge Fiend, Defiler. That sounds fun. One of them is an alpha. Sweet. If the alpha gets killed, they all get raged. That's nice. That's pretty sweet. That's good living. I love naps. I've said it before. I'll say it again whenever it comes up. Naps for the win. Good, good, good for the soul. I took a nap today before I made dinner. It's a good call, Ripley. A good call. I'm pretty addicted to naps. I'm gonna have to break myself of that addiction at some point. If I ever get a 9 to 5 again, I would be struggling. I'll just take a nap at work. Does anyone have experience with clumping foliage for basing? I think. Like, what exactly are you trying to do? Do you mean the springy stuff? Or buy a bag of something, buddy? You mean like this kind of stuff? Yeah, reindeer moss is good stuff. Is that what it's called? I love that stuff. Super springy. Springy. Foam stuff that looks like mini bushes. Foam stuff that looks like mini bushes. I don't think I am familiar with that. This brush is getting out of hand. Clean brush is a happy brush. Dyed foam that's been chopped up. Strangely enough, I don't think I've ever worked with that. I don't think that's what I put on the one Tyranid that I did. I'll have to check it out. think I mispainted. No, I didn't. I didn't. It's just a bizarre model. All right. It's just very ambiguous right there. Sweet. I will check that out un momento. Not really too worried about hitting the trim here because that's all going to get covered in metallic. Send a picture of my basing. It's not very good. We'll see. Everybody's their own biggest critic. We're talking this one. It looks pretty cool. This one on the left is a little better than the one on the right. I do like basing. A lot. Still got a lot to learn. Good living. Bloobs. Bloobs. Probably will get around to a little bit of pre-game basing work tonight for that fudge fiend. There's all kinds of flesh I got to get on here, and it is very morally ambiguous. Maybe not morally, but visually ambiguous. Picks further down. Oh, that's a size comparison. All right. I'm not seeing anything. Are you sure you sent it here? Maybe I gotta just refresh this thing. Nope. Yeah, the pug next to the Helbrute is pretty choice. Dang, that's as far down as I got. As I go. Oh, I posted in the rules chat. Ha ha! Bam. Grassy. Interesting. I haven't actually used grass in quite a while. Like I've used the little tufts pretty heavily, but I haven't flocked in a bit. Probably gonna do it on one of these guys, maybe both. A little bit of flocking. Dude, I haven't smoked weed in a long time. It stopped doing it for me. Eon's back. Occasionally CBD, muscle woes, but grass is evil. Don't touch it. Yeah, well, I don't. The evil argument doesn't hold much with me. Thanks for the heads up. I respect that, Grog. While I don't think that Reefer is evil, I've always had a special place in my heart for people like, yeah, never really, never did. Like, oh, good for you. Good on you. Defied peer pressure in your youth. Different strokes for different folks. This guy's so meaty. Irritating and gets everywhere. What a line. Think about all the stuff that ends up on an editing room floor and that didn't. It's so silly. It's so silly. How are we going to get in there carefully? Well, I don't have to worry about the trim so much. That's going to be metallic. Oh, but this hand is fleshy. Big old meat fist. Rot, do you have one of those static boxes? Yeah, big old bear paw. You got it. Big old mitts. I still don't have one of those boxes where you just like put the glue on and have it stick up, but flocking just like in a shaker unto itself is really good. Yeah, can you imagine just being grabbed by that thing and it's got a big old maw in it? Yeah, put it in a sieve. Yeah, it's a sieve. I'd worry. Well, I'm curious to see what happens when you put it in a sieve. I'm not sure it's going to get through all that easy. I actually just grabbed a spice shaker that I had that was just empty. That was from like, and I found that to be like the right amount of control for it. Um, but let me know. You might actually just be able to tap it through a sieve. It is super fine. I just worry if it would get too clumped underneath there. I think that's a good idea. The main thing is you want it to be, however you're applying it, you want it to have a little bit of breathing room, so you're not like jamming it all into itself, because then it can sort of get clumpy. Which in some cases does actually look pretty good, but in a lot of cases, like if you were going to do that, you just like if you're to do that intentionally, you probably just want to use like tweezers or something like that. It's fun though. It's really fun stuff, and it's way easier to use than it seems like it's going to be. I mean, you pretty much just lay glue down and put as much grass on it as you want and shake the stuff off. Sweet. I will check that out in a second, bud. Fleshy, fleshy, flesh. So a lot of this skin is going to get some Gilliman flesh on it after this weird base coat. I may do a little bit of highlighting or dry brushing before that on some of the bigger spots, like right here. Essentially, that's where I'm going with this. Is that this is very pink. Gilliman, I gotta get back to this hand. Gilliman flesh is actually pretty ruddy as well. Significantly darker. That'll give me my baseline, and over that will be anything like raising it back up with a little bit of highlighting. By that point, it's metally. And you're so anatomically ambiguous, my friend. Love you. Inside that mitt mouth. Hey, what's up, Maury? Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully, you're getting a decent amount of rest. Oh yeah, this is. Look at that guy. That is a feisty lad. That's some nice red on it, man. Oh yeah, dude. Such a cool model. So much anger. Me and my pink friend. I got two pink friends. Base tones for flesh. It's gonna get a lot darker. But right now, more just blocking out the parts that are allegedly skin on these guys. You know, it's very interesting trying to distinguish. I mean, even on the Helbrute we were just looking at, like they ended up doing the back part of this all blacked out. Some of it like dark ruddy skin, some of it almost straight up black. It's a complicated lad. But I want it to look feverish. So we're starting pretty light and pretty red. I got so much work to do on these footies. Footies, footies, footies. Yes, he's absolutely in his strawberry gum or silly putty phase for sure. Pretty in pink. Should just leave him pink. Put a bow on him. Grab a little bit more paint for this palette. Yeah, it's too dark. Yeah, pictures are tough, man. I have a light box over here. I barely use it anymore. I leave my own model sitting on it just so that I can stare at them, but I often don't pull it out to take pictures. I haven't been doing a terribly delinquent job in terms of taking photos of my stuff. Every once in a while, something gets up to Instagram. At the very least, I try to share it on Discord. But I think with the weather getting nicer, one of the things I want to do is just grab a bunch of my stuff and just go outside and do some outdoor lighting because it's much more fire and forget. Outdoor lighting is just like so good. Bring everything out, line it all up, take a pile of different photos, some natural light, and just get it done as like a project to document because it can be hard to stay up to date on that stuff. You always want to just paint more. Just get on the Helbrute train. Absolutely. Well, I mean, picture doesn't have to be perfect. It's a dope model, man. The paint job on it is like sick. Just like absolute red rage. You see that thing on the table and you're like, bring it down. As usual, I find myself reduced to toenail painting. What this job is, painting toes. Sometimes you just gotta capture a pic right now. It is a very nice detail that the guy was clearly chained up but a few minutes ago. Had him on lockdown for a bit. Got, another set of chains around his footy. I love that he's just got mutant feet. Big old Skyrim giant toenails. That fiend has done a lot of good painting for me. Old school Ralpartha dragons kind of painter. I don't know what that phrase means. Explain. Is Ralpartha a painter? You're going back into roots that predate me, my man. I just don't know who that is. Ah, miniature manufacturer. Okay. I don't feel as bad for my ignorance. Do they still make stuff? Sweet. Or 3 a.m. in the UK. So we play D&D at his place every other Sunday. That's awesome that you got a regular crew. That's fantastic. One of the finer things in life. A consistent crew of people tabletop with. Oh, that's flesh. All right. Get that attachment going a little bit. I've only tabletop RPG'd once in like last couple of years. My buddy Will ran one shot of the Aliens tabletop RPG that I played. Miss it. I do miss it. Oh yeah, we're going for it tonight, Dane. Going for it. What happens when I take a nap, energized, take a nap and hop myself up on coffee, ready to rock. And I got Helbrutes. Like, gotta step up for the Helbrutes, man. Got to do it. Far cry from back in the day, though. I was like just crushing 4 hour streams left and right. Out of the group from 2013 to 2018. I was working out of town. So you guys go way back. That's awesome. It's also good that like it's a very good sign of like friendship and crew where you can be out of town for years and then come back and drop back in. Good old days. I have several buddies from like the OG days that even now, I mean, there's guys that I knew in high school and in some cases well before that. Like my oldest time served friend I met when I was 3, and he's actually going to be up in town in a couple of weeks, and we get to see him. Like, it's just wild. Like some friendships just last. Like my buddy Will, that like somewhat connived into getting into Warhammer. I've known that dude for like 15 years. We didn't hang out for a while. Um, just because I went off, worked different jobs and stuff like that. And, like we hadn't skipped a beat. I was like, yeah, I got into Warhammer. I need someone to play with. Like if you were gonna play, like tell me some armies you play, and I'll do a combat patrol up. We can play. And now he's my Warhammer buddy. Like he ain't new. I've known this guy since a long time ago, but it's kind of neat. I always just find it like really awesome those friendships that can like have gaps in them, and it doesn't matter. Like recency isn't that important. I'm Dane. I'm not actually trying. I'm gonna basically my whole jam is like I paint until I'm too tired to do it effectively, or I've got to go to sleep because I got something in the morning. I no longer try to keep track of the time at all. I don't like avoid paying attention to the time, but I don't really track it. As long as I'm feeling good, I just keep babbling. Just keep on babbling. Just trying to make some good progress here. But they're absolutely nice. I mean, they're probably more often than not, and I would guess tonight will be the same. Where like eventually I hit a point where I'm just like, all right, my eyes aren't working. I'm out. And just kill the thing. When I'm done, I'm done. But until then, just steady rocking. Paint over painting's good. Oh man, school is like the time to pick up gaming habits. It's just like so wild that you can. High school and college for me were like, God, it's so much time to play, relatively speaking. And like, even if you're working jobs and how crazy classes, like you still, maybe it's just out of necessity, probably poor. Like I was running a Shadowrun campaign in my sophomore year at college, and it was like of the people playing, like none of us had any money, so like it was the thing we could do to hang out, and then we did it so much that like the campaign sort of took on a life of its own, and then all of a sudden it's like we got to make progress on this. So like one hand sort of washes the other, where it's like it starts out of necessity and capability, then everyone gets so into it that you're like, by choice, even when you could do something else, you're like, nah, we got to play. Get everyone together, we got to play. It's cool. Now it's like it can be hard to find. Oh yeah, I mean the thing is, you put so much time in that there's just so much plot and so much progress that happens. It is like very much like a book. All right. What am I missing? I gotta find a couple little spots to sneak in over here. Just to get consistent. But yeah, this guy looks pink AF. A little bit here, a little bit here. That's just all vertebrae. But yeah, that's it's good stuff. I I imagine that like there'll be a great renaissance of tabletop RPG play when I'm an old retiree. Like if I was in an old folks home, good gosh, D&D every day. Trying to document everything that happened. Yeah. Oh, server was almost crashed. Oh, that's like a classic. Like, oh my gosh, so much material gone. I mean, the other part of it is that like the medium is so conducive to just having so much stuff go on. Because it's all verbal. I don't want to say that it's all dialogues. It's not all characters talking, but you're pushing so much plot so fast with multiple characters because you're just talking your way through stuff. As far as like storytelling goes, you crush it. And I think it's part of the reason that D&D as a stream content thing has gotten so popular is very much just like old school radio drama. Like you play D&D for 4 hours, the amount of plot that you cover, the amount of twists and turns that can happen in that period of time, and with multiple players going live in concert with each other, like as far as a medium for pushing narrative, it's a lot. Oh, it'll be a while, Dane. It'll be a while. I'm just looking at the future. I can't I can't imagine being an old guy in an old folks home and not being like, yo, I've got like ninth edition D&D books. Who wants to play? That's happening. It'll be a while, trust me. But like that will be the time where I like finally have enough time to play D&D again. Like if I went to prison, oh my god, I'd just be playing D&D. You just got to do it. Any of those situations where like you just got time on your hands, whoo, roll some dice. Or in the case of prison, I think they use like foam cups and they just twist them. You make foam cups with little notches taken out of them, and then you blind twist them and see what number comes up. I don't think you're allowed to have dice in most prisons. At least I saw something about that at one point. It seemed reasonably viable. Ugh. Just gotta get in there. Don't worry about the trim. I'm going over the trim. Abs, abs, abs. All right, where else? Where else? Where else? I'm gonna thin this out a little bit. Just try to get like a wet dab. A couple of spots in here that are a little sneaky. Yeah, there you go. All this meat growing in around these melted barrels. Poor guy's hand has just got to be getting scorched every time he pulls that trigger. Whatever trigger that is. The time he makes it go boom. There's a couple little squirty spots. I totally bonked that piece. That'll get gone over though. Buddy, you are complicated. Got issues, pal. Just try to get in there. Yeah. Good job, me. Okay, we're going to start with Redbox, and she will convert your character to the next edition. Of terrifying. There'd be a lot of conversion between some of those editions. Like third to fourth would be brutal. I liked fourth a lot though. Big fan of fourth. far as running it. Not a fan favorite though. I know combat. Sheesh. Older editions is just brutal, and like it's funny because D&D comes out of wargaming, and I feel like a lot of tabletop RPG systems, even though you have far fewer characters to deal with, um, it's the complexity was there early on. I liked four. It didn't have to be run like a video game. And I know that's like a lot of the critique of it was like, well, it just feels like an MMO where I'm pushing these buttons. But like a lot of it was just translation of like what do you mean I could just do magic missile whenever I want? And it's like, well, I mean, by the time you're anyone important, you can still do magic missile kind of anytime you want. It's kind of silly that you can't, but like there's some issues with it. But what I liked a lot about it is that every character's it wasn't that their mechanics were the same, it was that the way that they were formatted was the same. And so like everyone could essentially play with a deck of cards with all their abilities on it. And if you and a lot of it was contextualized within the card. So a lot of the abilities at least were like atomic. Um, and so like you needed to learn like your most important rule and then like have some abilities that played off of it. Um, as far as someone running the game, it made it pretty. Third was good in that regard. I mean, third was really where they was the first step um, in rationally looking at balanced like challenge rating. Not that it was actually balanced, but mhm. But like because they merged them essentially to use the same rules, you could actually look at like comparative challenge. You weren't just guessing when you were trying to put a module together. Like, is everyone going to die on this one? Is this the one when everyone dies? Mr. Bugman? I still got Mr. Bugman. He's out. He's out in the barn right now. He's fighting. I have a game that I started against my buddy Will over the winter, and then it got too cold to play. So we still have models on the table, but a lot of my Death Guard is actually outside the barn right now. So hit very much did outstrip AC in third quite profoundly. Um, but it's like in the overall arc of D&D, like they had made big steps forward for it to be codifiable. All right, this is where things are gonna get really ugly on this first guy. I'm gonna rust up a bunch of this dude, which means I'm going to the sauce, the typhus corrosion. How much of this do I got? I got enough. It doesn't take much. I have not touched fifth. Believe it or not. I am totally out of the loop on fifth. Maybe get this in the camera shot here. We are just gonna hit and rust this guy up. And this typhus corrosion isn't just brown paint. It's going to add the necessary texture in spots where I'm going to start brushing it over, like dry brushing with like Rise of Rust or any other orange. The texture is going to get picked up. This guy's going to look like mad corroded. little further. Where is? Oh yeah, there's not very much in there. There we go. There we go. That's a bit much, but there you go. This guy's gonna be corrosive. Like this pauldron right here, just gut it. You do want to make sure you get enough of it on there so that you got that texture. It's got grit in it. 10th moving towards bland balance. I mean, I I have to say that like it's I think that opinion is is with good reason like is steeped in your understanding of the past of it because man it is like it is pretty it's still pretty varied to someone like me. Um, like it's hard. Like without coming at 10th with like preconceived understandings of previous editions, it's dense. I mean, I respect the fact that they are trying to get things to be balanced. Um, but I also like I agree. Like I'm not a huge fan of balance for balance sake. I don't like symmetry in general in design. I like lean way over on the side of like symmetry's not your friend, pal, buddy. It's a little further than a lot of people go, but yeah, it's good schlop in there. I don't think I think too many people try to make things too symmetrically balanced for the good of the game. But like I understand why there needs to be some balance. Like I'm not that's not lost on me. But I don't know that like I think Warhammer's got an interesting in between spot where like it is played in tournaments and people want it to be tournament playable and that's where they get a lot of their coverage from is like that tournament stuff. At the same time, there's a lot of people that don't play it in tournaments that want it to be varied and fun. And that's a tough, tough line to straddle. I mean, they do very specifically look at tournament win rates per faction, and they are extraordinarily well balanced in terms of like win rates and stuff like that. Like crazily so for someone who's like worked on balancing different MMO classes and stuff like that. Like I am shocked at how close a lot of very very different. There's so many moving parts, so many moving parts in Warhammer. How they even get marginally close sometimes is like a little bit shocking to me. All right, so I'm obviously using like a beater brush. And what I like to do with rusty stuff, make sure that I glop it on heavy in some spots, and then as the brush sort of dries out a little bit, you just sort of tap around those areas, almost like you're sponging. So you get a little bit of that like pitted sort of look to it. Obviously, up here I can just kind of go nuts. Get his spine. And like I haven't had to dip this thing back in corrosion quite some time because now I'm just barely stippling with it. And this rust is only going to get worse and worse. Oh, he's very blotchy. He's falling apart, dude. He's all corrosive rust and and pink skin right now. This is this is the trust the process phase. Don't look too closely at it while you're doing it, or you'll feel bad phase. This guy looks like a hot mess right now, buddy. I agree with you. Not that good looking. But you know, styles vary. He's gonna be a lot blotchier than you like no matter what. You do clean stuff. And it's good. I like what you do. But this is about as opposite uh this is about as opposite to your style as it gets. Which is a great thing about the hobby. Styles are extremely variant. All that work to then just blotch the daylights out of it. But it is in the blotching that we find peace. So what this guy will get is this typhus corrosion. Yeah, see, I can already feel the grit on this. So this guy's going to be a little bit. The sliminess on this guy is probably going to be like oil. This guy I want to sort of be like there's like multiple horsemen of corruption. This guy is all about like being corroded, um, not necessarily being not emphasizing the organic part as much. And this guy is going to be uh, more in the rot and regrowth sort of aspects. Um, so he'll be a little bit more planty, a little bit more undead bone kind of motif. These guys are going to look pretty different. I tend to be a 40k grognard. I love that phrase. Term. It's not a phrase. I've been here since the beginning of second, which is wild, dude. I think you have, to be clear, I think you have every right to your opinion. I'm categorizing mine as like as having just shown up, being like, "Wow, this game's pretty dense." But I totally respect. I totally respect where you're coming from. I think I go back and forth. Um, like part of me is like, wow, you used to spend like 5 points to put this thing on this model, and that was a little bit like that to me at face value seems like just a bit much for any game. At the same time, you know, it is a game where you are hand building and painting every last little model, and they can all have like a crazy story to it. I think where they may be at is that like I I feel like they could have hand waved. I don't miss a tank staying in the entire game from glancing hits. I feel like there was a way to solve for that without diluting the whole game. Army building does sound like a total pain. So here's the thing: I feel like they could have solved it with, "Hey, if you want to build your army that way, go nuts. Here are the very dense rules about this guy has this tiny little difference with that guy, and there's a points cost difference." But the point I have to tell you this: I believe strongly that pointing those individual weapon things was meaningless the the actual points values were probably nearly meaningless when they existed. Um, there's no way to measure them properly. That doesn't mean that it's bad. Doesn't mean that like having that in there is not a good thing in terms of the design, but I guarantee you that anyone who is tasked with building that game could not make uh, sense of it. In short, um, which is challenging from a production standpoint. Doesn't mean you can't have it. I just feel like what they could have done is say, "Hey, go ahead and make." Here's a perfect example. Go ahead and make your what you call it. What's a good example of your commandos? Commandos, perfect example. Because I did exactly this. Go ahead and make your commando squad however you want, and then here is a like on the books version for this other point cost that is these weapon profiles for the whole thing. Maybe not the exact one for like every last model in the unit, but making a version so it's like, hey, I want to play this game and not have it be as dense was a smart, potentially with like a slight points cost discount on um, on the overall unit cost. Would be like, here's the quick play version, and if you want to go deeper, then you can finagle every last little thing by 5 points. I think they could have just done that and been fine. It's like a random head over here. Oh, random Lisa Votan head. I must have chosen a different head. The things you find on your desk. Um, I don't think they needed to obliterate the old rules and go like, you know, now it's X number of models in the unit can have this thing and it's free. I don't think they had to like purely go that direction, but somewhere in between would have been smart, or both. Those it's one of the rare cases where like both of those could have existed alongside each other and just been fine. All right, I think some of this rust on to start. Oh yeah, this guy's gonna be so rusted out. I think what I'm gonna do now is bust out Chilliman Flesh if I can find it. Bloodshade. Well, Gilliman Flesh isn't shade, it's a contrast paint. Brown. Where the heck did I put it? Did I leave it out? I might have left it out. Chilliman Flesh. Seraphim. Sepia. Mortarian Grime, another juicy one. And Camo Shade. Agrax. I might just find something that's not PT Flesh. Should grab Reichland just in case I need it. Drawers with all my stuff. All my stuff. And there's the Gilliman Flesh. In the flesh. Third edition Apocalypse Codex, the salamanders could swap out their heavy weapon slot for a second flamer. But instead of being 5 points, the second one cost 9 points. Everyone was like, why 9? It doesn't make any sense. Because 2 flamers is a lot better than you think. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I do think there's absolutely room for a separate dish to wash this thing out. We'll just go with it. Do it live. Yeah, typhus corrosion's gross. I'd send you an egg for Easter, dude, but I don't think it will make it. Yeah, past the border. Yeah, seems dubious. Seems dubious. All right, brush is ready for some more terrible duty. Like I don't think they had to go whole hog and just be like simplifying things as much as they did. But I will say this in terms of like opening up the market to more players, army creation was not a non-starter, but certainly intimidating and certainly was going to push some people away. Eventually, the second printing, where the second one was only 5 points because it caused so many arguments. You can't waffle on that stuff. I think the designers were 100% right. Oh, I didn't flesh out this guy's face. Um, that is a hard part of game design is that like I guarantee you that those designers were 100% correct that like two flamers is a lot stronger than you think it is. You gotta stick by your guns when you can with that kind of stuff though. But you only get in those kind of arguments when you have some crazy arcane point system that calls for it. But I absolutely respect that like that is a huge part of what drew a lot of people to the game. It's like it is it is the grimiest. I mean, as someone who's absolutely like a student of the game of games, like Warhammer, part of the reason it took me so long to get into it is I knew just how like down and dirty, grimy it is in terms of like piles of arcane rules. And it's still that. I guess what I'm saying is it's still got that to me relative to the rest of the world of games, but it definitely doesn't have what it used to have. All right, it'll be a little bit of a challenge to get in here and hit some of the wiring around this head, but yeah, we're just going to slop that in there and then pick some back up. Boop. Brush and then go back in and just lift, thin it out and lift. There we go. Now at least it can accept some Gilliman flesh. I do not envy anyone involved in the game design of Warhammer. It is a tough, tough job. I'm not saying they do a great job every single time. I'm not saying they don't make terrible mistakes, but like if you're working on Warhammer, you are a masochist in some way. I do wonder with how much ease of making lists. There we go. Now you're not pink. Um, Improved if like if it became if it was less lucrative for Games Workshop because like you could just build like I never agreed with the argument that like everyone could just build the optimal build now. It's like, well, there is no optimal build. I mean, in some cases there are, don't get me wrong, but like different weapon loadouts are for different purposes. I guess it doesn't. I think what they decided was that like scaling up their operation was going to be that much more lucrative than having people continuously try to hot swap out weapon profiles on models they already owned. I agree with that. I think I'm a huge fan in general of keywording, but And I was very pleased when I was starting to get into the game that they're like, here's the big thing. We got keywords and we're going to go nuts with them. And I don't think they pulled the lever hard enough. I agree with that. I think even just like casually looking at stuff like how repetitive the keywording is, which is like the point of keywording is that you just like eventually understand the language of it. But like the ability to get lethal hits or sustained hits is like so commonplace that different armies don't feel that much different. He looks bloody pink. Yeah. Yeah, he's getting there. So Gilliam the Flesh still has a lot of like ruddy red to it. So it's going to knock the pink back a little bit, but it's a contrast paint, so a lot of what it's going to do is just like sit in those little divots and stuff. It'd be darker in certain spots than other, but it'll give it more of a fleshy texture. Should be good. But definitely like ruddy red glop. And then over this, like basically I wanted it pink underneath so it looks sweaty, feverish. Gilliam the Flesh will make it darker, and then very, very thin coats of lighter stuff will come into play. That'll give it some highlight and skin stretchiness for sure. Or for hope. Welcome back, Sectrix. Welcome back, Mr. Cotter. I'm actually going to get all the way into these guys. Go all the way into these little vertebrae in there. Because those are going to get touched up with white after the fact. So I can go over the whole thing. Spread this stuff out a bit. Don't need to be bashful with it. Obviously, I don't want it to like pool too much, but it does need to get in there. Talked to Andy Chambers, was the 40K overlord until he quit to work for Blizzard. Sure, that happens. Back at US Game Day 2003, 3.5 Imperial Codex just dropped. Build your own special regiments. I was like, these are awesome. Tournament players are not going to like it. To which you respond, don't care if they do. It's like you hope that design isn't going to be antagonistic, but with very few exceptions, any game like Warhammer, any game that is played competitively, you always have a camp of people where that is their life goal is to play it at a tournament level, and then everyone else who may or may not play it at a tournament level, but it is not their like life's ambition. Um, it can be really, really a pain in the butt to make the game for both sides. I'm not going to hit the tentacles except for just the very base part of them with this stuff because they're going to get much brighter color on them. They may end up being like super purple so they stand out. I want them to stay as pink, sweaty as possible. He hated people that didn't take arms on their Titans because they weren't worth the points. Well, you've also got to if arms aren't worth the points, and you're the designer, Something you got fixed, buddy. That's something you always got to cope with as a designer. Is that people are going to optimize based on what you put on the page. I called one of the scariest Space Marines players at one point. I stole that title. It's pretty sweet. Got a rep. This brush is going to get absolutely murdered. Programming the bar? I don't think so, or at least it doesn't sound familiar to me. Do tell. Refresh my memory. Order one beer, order negative 50 beers, order infinity beers. Okay, I think it's ready. Guy walks in and says, "Where's the bathroom?" Bar burns to the ground. I don't think I get it, but it is pretty funny. There have been times in the past that I wait till like the end to paint flesh stuff. I'm so glad I'm not doing it on these. There's always the temptation just like knock out a bunch of real estate by going directly to the armor first. This is making my life so much easier right now. Just get all this crap done. And obviously, in some spots, I will nick the flesh again with the armor color and be like, oh, I should have done it the other way around. But I'm pretty sure that this is the right order of operations right now. Constant reevaluation of process and order. Well, you think you have the program for every eventuality, but then unexpected happens? Yeah. It's coding is fun. I am still, despite doing it, not very great at it. Um, but if you like being taken literally, it's pretty sweet. Painting toes, chaos painting toes. Actually, I do need to go over all the toenails. You're going to get a coat of something off white, then another wash over them, but getting some amount of flesh color underneath shows through nicely. Going to do the opposite of avoiding them. Hit them. It's ugly, but it's looking fleshier, and it's supposed to be ugly. The ugliness shine through. These look very fantasy giant flesh dudes right now. But you're going to get more and more steps on them. Just this much demonic skin deserves the effort. A few people might come out of the shadows. I mean, the thing is, I've accepted that the the amount of footiness involved in chaos painting is pretty absurd. Like you gotta make your peace with the fact that you're just like a glorified uh, pedicurist all over the place. I'm quite certain that I have already acquired my foot fetishist audience, and they're all right here already. Probably just not chatting too much. They're just happy to witness the power of foot painting, not looking to get judged, not looking to enter conversation. More power to them. But I gotta tell you, you paint a lot of feet, a lot more foot than you think you're gonna when you get into chaos. A heck of a lot of foot painting. Like, ain't no dreadnoughts wearing flip flops. So no one redeems nice things about me. Shame on you guys. Put a wash on those arches. At some point, I'll have to like quickly write up a database of all the models that have bare feet or at least some amount of foot showing, and I would be shocked. I think the loyalists are very anti-foot. I imagine even pre-heresy Fulgrim would have been like, enjoying the feel of the grass or the deck of a ship beneath his feet while sparring or dueling someone. Seems like a very Emperor's Children duelist sort of thing. I doubt that was the case. I don't think they allowed it. That's why I became a rebel and a heretic. It's all about the feet. Always was. Always a feet mission. Enough there. So as much as I'm going to leave the tentacles just ruddy like that, this mouth that holds them needs to go in flesh. There's also like, oh my god, so many teeth. So many. Now I'll get the dental OnlyFans folks out. Teeth everywhere on these models. My husky pervert voice. Yeah, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Never, never gotten that specific compliment before, but I'll take it. What's that guy like? He's got kind of a husky pervert vibe to him. Sweet. Very well said. The mission is afoot. um, always. I think 40K Fulgrim is an amazingly good model. That's like entirely how I imagined he would look after 10,000 years of just straight up sadistic, masochistic YOLO off on his own pleasure planet. He looks like such a goon. If I paint that model, I might actually do it with his helmet on. Be like, you know what? He's being responsible. He's going to battle. He's wearing his helmet. But I do like how the faces look. I just don't think I paint them well. But like the surprised look on his face, oh my god, it's so Fulgrim. The guy is a goon. He's like such a doof. Like that is like in regards to like excess and mirth and extravagance, like he is as goony in that regard as Angron looks pissed. Like, it's perfect. So, don't want to get this on the top of the horns, but some of it on the roots is good. Um, I don't know if it's actually going to show through, but generally speaking, I take something like Seraphim Sepia on the roots of horns, and hit it with that. These are going to get gotten over with a bone white, no matter what. Getting a little dab on the roots discoloration is good. So just underneath, not too shabby. Just add some in there. Just helps keep things from looking like monochromatic. Yoink. All right, now rotate this guy around. For spots that I missed. See the pinkishness difference. Tentacles. Some of these spots in the shadows after this dries, I may actually hit with a little bit more Gilliman flesh. Like I'm just having a look at it right now. good muscly dude. Let me get the base of these guys. Yeah. Horns up here. Scooch that off. Get this over here a little bit. I'm getting fleshy. Beating both Magnus and Mortarion at Legion at the same time before. One last getting into the shadows here with a little extra coat. I want things to darken up in there nicely. It's almost certainly going to be a wash that gets deposited in there as well, but scooch that around. All right. Show. Look around. Looking for just little creases and spots that I didn't quite get. The next big step on this is obviously going to be like hitting up. Probably do the armor next. I might do the metallics next and then do the armor on it. But I've got to get all the plain white to like a bone white color. See how much my chaos voice has grown? Sweet. I will check that out. Just get this brush a little bit clean. This brush is on a one-way trip. Like a lot of contrast paint is not a brush like. Oh yeah, ballers. I've seen this page before. This is crazy. Look at how angry Angron looks. Oh, Flesh Hound. Yeah, Fulgrim. The bad brother. Lord of Change. Lord of Change 2. The Revenge. Magnus is pretty rad looking. I'm probably going to make some emojis out of this. I mean, this is like so classic looking. I mean, it is classic, but like it fits. Hey, Mingo. Yeah, I do like the Mortarion though. Like he does not look like he's from the future at all. In fact, a lot of these like the old idea of what things had melded yet, where like the techno future met demons. I'm good, Mingo. I'm still nursing a bit of a sore tooth, but I'll kill the other screen in a second. We're Helbrutes. I'm good, buddy. How have you been? Pile of nerdlings. Still a pile of nerdlings. So dope. They do look cringy. But that's just history. Sinus surgery? Sweet. Were you a deviant or were you having something else done? And sure, why don't I just jump right on it and ask you about surgical procedures? 28 years for Fulgrim. Yeah. How recovered are you? Like how in the thick of it are you? I myself, as I've proudly proclaimed many times in the stream, I was working my way through an infection that happened as a result of removing a molar. So I've been in recovery as well, but probably not nearly as crazy as a sinusy person. I imagine that's been 2 weeks out. Yeah, so you're still vibing. Deviated septum and nasal turbinate resection. I don't know what that means, but it sounds anything sinus is just like invasive as hell. Don't like the dissolving packing they used. Ew. Does it like come out in chunks? You blowing chunks of your brains out? Basically where the cheeks tie the nose. Okay. Sweet. Sweet. So the molar that they pulled out is like 30. Uh, if I had a wisdom tooth back there, then there's one more molar than 30. It was like, you know how you fill out paperwork saying like, hey, there's risks with this procedure. One of the risks, because the sheet doesn't care about which tooth is getting pulled, is like, could end up with fragments in your sinuses. Now, the dentist, I was like, man, if you're pulling out a bottom molar and something ends up in my sinuses, we're gonna have a problem. Well, I am wishing you a swift swift let's see, evolution into freer breathing. That was one hell of a pull, yeah. But apparently it does happen with like top molars. Like you just get a fragment that just goes gazoop, goes up instead of down. I mean, it is very medieval still, the process of removing a molar. Like they are all up in your shit, um, with torture devices. It's pretty rad. Like the painkillers they give you obviously like obviate a ton, but like you hear stuff in your head just crunching. Like it is the opposite of like some ASMR Twitch stream stuff. It's just like crunching. Yeah, I had all four of mine pulled when I was in my teens. It was dope. I was completely out for that though. I they didn't. I wasn't just local. I was pieced out, sleepy, or at least sedated. Nice thing about Gilman flesh, it's going in that red territory. I'm not gonna worry about. It's not gonna mess with how corrosion looks, which is nice. The corrosion on this guy is going to get way brighter and way more orange in spots, but starting from like a browny red, a lot of my rust washes are pretty darn close to what I'm working with already here. So it's good. It's good. All works out. I mean the thing is I had basically like my tooth cracked is what the problem was. So like they they could have root canaled it, but it was kind of like, hey, this thing's already like fractured AF. It's probably going to be one of those root canals that needs something else done to it in the next 3 to 5 years, anyhow. Um, it might be best to just yoink the thing and go with an implant later. So it was already hurting me for a while. It wasn't terrible pain, but it was like that kind of like consistently annoying. Still have that sheet of paper here. Yeah, dude. Story time. Um, oh, I'll wait till that. I'll wait till the ad's over and then I'll do picture time. I have an X-ray before the tooth came out that illustrates stuff. Cutting into an old metal Eldar Ranger, cutting off his two last pistols to give him a long rifle and a shuriken pistol. Everything's so tiny. Elves are so small. How can you even tell? it. Caught me, Mick. All right, I think the ad break is done. Pull out this little X-ray picture to delight and horrify everyone. It's not that bad. So see that dark space right there? That was where my tooth was missing. A big old gap. So it was already causing me a decent amount of pain. Yeah, it was a big chunk, just like one of, like it's a crown on top of the tooth. One of those whole spikes and like a huge chunk underneath it had just broken off. So I was already like kind of suffering through it for a while. It was not horrible. It was nowhere near like recovering from it getting pulled and getting infected and all that, but it was already annoying. And so my point, long-winded, uh, straddling an ad break, is when the tooth finally crunched and I heard it. I actually like I clapped and was like, "Yay!" Just like get rid of this stupid thing, get it out. The price of failure. Like 25 years, not a single dental problem. My teeth are ugly, but they're like healthy. Then one tooth decided to give up the ghost, play stupid, get it out. Fired. Got no room for that level of failure in my face. Face is tough enough to look at. All right, I will check that out in 1 second. I just want to get some glop on these spots. That's good. It's getting there. Face. There we go. Get some detail back on that thing. A little bit of the excess up. Only a couple little spots that I know I got to get on here still. Obviously, there's the spots that I don't know that I've got to get, but that always happens. Dab there. Zoop. Zoop. Anywhere the pink stands out. This guy I can get. But yeah, he's starting to look a wee bit more fleshy. Oh, there's a little area in there. I didn't get too well. There we go. Looking better. I've said multiple times. You're cursed with soft teeth. So here's the deal with my teeth. Is like, with the exception of that broken one, like my teeth are super healthy and my jaw like very healthy. So getting this one fucking molar out, pardon my French, was like a pain. Like they thought it was going to take like 15 minutes and it took an hour and 15. They called a second dentist in, like a more senior guy and a bigger dude who just had more muscle. Rough. It was rough. And it made my jaw sore because it just keep pulling you in one direction or the other. There we go. Here's an old classic picture. All right. So let's see. A little bit taller guy in the middle was the original Avatar. This guy was the Airbender. So classic now, except in order so they can maintain the copyright on those model designs. I mean, this is just nutty, man. I will say this, like they clearly differentiated the aesthetic with these guys. Crazy, like it's not just that it's got like the Roman crest on it. It's just like all the shape language is still there, and it's kind of neat to me that like as much as everything has clearly been modernized a bunch, um, the aesthetic's still there. That like Green Goblin face in the front of that tight, tight. Quick speed, deadly strafing runs, and jet bikes makes them feared throughout the galaxy. Models supplied with a plastic base. Yeah, 18. I agree with that. I'm not like truth be told, I am not a huge Eldari fan. Um, like as far as preference goes, I don't I don't like their aesthetic much. It's like not for me. Um, but like it is very interesting to me that over time, like this is still very intact. A lot of the like themes and shape language are still there in the modern day. But personally, I think these guys look corny. Not for me, but pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, like Drukari have a couple elements that I do like, but still like the trying to think of what exactly it is, but I think it's a lot of the shape language of like they have a very 70s space alien aesthetic to them. Like late 60s, early 70s sci-fi thing, and the issue is that it's hard for me to take that seriously. Basically gangsters, yeah. I mean, I played Dark Elves and Blood Bowl, like so. Like, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Like, this only really cross applies in Warhammer, but like, I think I think I may just have a very high bar for space elves, the space part of elves. Um, like, I also, from what little exposure I have in the books, um, in the literature, like I haven't always really enjoyed what I've read about. It hasn't been compelling to me. But like, geez, I'm definitely not going to like every faction in 40k. Like that is that to me would be my personality would be gone if that was the case. Something about them. I do like Harlequins though, so I guess I think we are winding down. I'm pretty tired. Speaking of books, I've almost finished the Black Legion books. They're quite good. Yeah, I those are the most recent ones that I read before I started going back to older stuff. Um, I really like that it's pretty much from the perspective of a Thousand Sons guy turned Black Legion. I thought that was a very very interesting choice. Um, a lot of people critiqued what Abaddon was like when they run into him, and it's like, yo, the dude's been like out there vagabonding and finding himself. It When you first get to him, he is he is the least familiar Abaddon you're ever gonna meet because he's not Horus Heresy Abaddon, and he has not gone through the full arc of what he's gonna do, and constantly have this voice gnawing at his ear. Um, yeah, we are winding down, Dane. It was great talking to you, and it's the near crack of dawn for you. So I'll probably say a few words about Abaddon and then probably call it myself. I mean, you have to think about how long, especially with warp and whatever going on, how long this dude has just been going around the known universe, like fighting stuff. In a lot of cases, trophy fighting stuff, and like you know making his whatever level of peace with what's happened in the world. It's pretty wild. But he's absolutely like the least familiar, and it's only for a temporary moment. He's completely at like this weird center point between old school like Luna Wolves to the death, with then Horus makes his turn, then Abaddon doesn't fit into that at the bitter end, and taking on his role as you know the core champion of chaos. He's that dude is lost. But I thought they were good. I thought they were well written. I think the fact that it is not perpetually about Abaddon, it's really about the Black Legion like coalescing. I thought that was interesting. I thought the amount of it's so many fetch quests. Well, I mean, part of what he's doing is avoiding, like a lot of that is his own personal. I'm just gonna go fight. Like I just want to be fighting, 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 fighting. A lot of what he's trying to do is like avoid the whispers of the war, but he's there. Like he's contradictory, which is good. Um, he's very contradictory. Internal conflict is a big part of his character, and where Horus is like up until the very end, very much like I'm me, I'm this thing. Like it's never gonna take me over. Uh, Abaddon's like in a weird, weird spot. He's not a Primarch. Like the fact that he has uh, Horus's claw just sitting in stasis that whole time, and he's like never put it on, is pretty wild. Or maybe he said he tried it on once, but he's definitely not running around. He doesn't look like his model. He's in like ramshackle mixed armor. Like he is just out there flying around fighting stuff and going back to his ship. He did. Oh, that's what you mean though about the fetch quests. Is yes, he absolutely did have to do a lot of fetch eventually. Yeah, it's a lot of balance. I love the fact that there was just some grimy Death Guard guy, Nurgle guy. hounding him the whole time. I I thought they were good books, but if you go into them thinking that he's just the Abaddon you know from pictures, yeah, Darovec, um, then he's not that for a while. Like he's very much a conversion, um, and him trying to wield chaos a bit but not succumb to it, and really staying true to himself, just wanting to turn everything into a long war. What he figures out is that at his core, he wants war. Good things of Abaddon, but not sectors. I say plenty of nice things about you, sectors. You're just in mid phase sectorix though. You're not the one that everyone's going to know. This is you right now is not what they're going to make your 40K model into. Anyhow, folks, I'm wicked tired. It is 12:30 for me. It is long past my bedtime, but we did make some solid pink progress on a couple very surly boys. Two pieces of Tyranid Rippers. Um, oh, before I peace out, I did like his final square off with Sigismund. I thought that was very satisfying in some very unsatisfying ways. Folks, I'm going to hit the hay. I'm going to unceremoniously dump you guys off the side of the lake because I'm multi streaming and I don't know exactly how to end this thing. Did you see Fletcher's Fulgrim? I don't think so, but I will look it up. Oh, sweet. Folks, it's been real. I got to piss like